Hi all, if you want to see how I created this hardscape only tank on a budget around £300, stick around, I think you'll enjoy this one. See you soon. Geordie Escape here, and once again, welcome to my adventures in aquascaping. Today's video, as the thumbnail says, is how I created this hardscape only aquarium. And also later in the video, I will leave a list of all the equipment I've used and how much it's cost. What I'm going to do in today's video is give you a step-by-step with some overlaid footage of how I created the aquarium. Before I go into that, I would like to say how I was inspired to do this sort of aquarium. I've always liked Aquarium Design Group, and they're a company based in the US, Texas, Houston, Texas, I believe. And it's Jeff and Mike Senske. They're two brothers who come up with the concept of Aquarium Design Group. I'll leave a link in the description so you can check out their site. And also George Farmer done a brilliant walk around of the store, which is huge, like everything's big in Texas. It's huge, and he's got a really good video, so I'll leave a link with that as well. Actually, I think he's done a full playlist on his visit, interviews with Jeff Senske. The idea behind a hardscape only tank is you can have a lovely tank at home that's hardscape only, looks nice and clean if you get the right filters, etc. And it doesn't cost a fortune. You don't have to spend a bomb on plants. There's no extra equipment needed, that sort of thing. You don't need CO2. So that's the idea behind it. Yeah, I love it, like you hate it. Personally, I think it's lovely. And this is actually done a lot of biotope style aquariums where the fish comes from in its natural habitat. There is no plants. So this is actually done with added tannins to make the water like a browny, orangey gold colour, that sort of thing. Anyways, that's another video in itself, which is something I may do in future. Right, so now we're going to delve into how I created this video. Like I say, I'm going to overlay some footage so you don't have to look at my ugly mug all the time. First up, what I've done, because the aquarium has got a black base on the bottom, I wanted to build a bit depth up, so I added some gravel first, just bog standard aquarium gravel. I put a layer on that on the bottom just so I didn't have to have a thick layer of sand, because if you put sand too thick, it can compact and cause issues later down the line. So if you've got a rimless tank, a braceless tank, and you haven't got a plastic cover on the bottom like I have, you don't have to worry about that. You just want a thin layer of sand. I would say maybe it's 1-2 centimeters tops. Then I laid the sand. The sand is a bag I already had, which is Hugo Kamashi quartz white gravel. I use this in my jewel aquarium as well. So I already have the sand, so I used that. So I got my selection of stones, which I sourced locally. I went and collected them from somewhere local where I'm allowed to take stones. So if you're going to do that yourself, I think it's illegal to take them off the beach and stuff like that. So just double check with your area, make sure it's okay. So people do collect stones from rivers and streams and things like that. So I collected those stones. There is a little test you can do. You can put a couple of drops of vinegar on. White vinegar is your best bet. And if it fizzes, don't use it in your aquarium. Of course, that's just a general rule of thumb. If it fizzes, the vinegar test. A lot of people still use the vinegar test, and I do myself. So you drip it on. If it fizzes on the stone, don't use that stone or rock in your aquarium. If it doesn't, you're good to go. Just give them a good scrub with hot water and they should be fine. Okay? So you have the stone. I put the largest rock in first, found a place, using the rule of thirds, take it just off center, and that's just more pleasing to the eye. You tend to find in layouts, aquascaping layouts, a lot of people use the rule of thirds. It doesn't have to be exact, as long as that big, especially if you've got a larger stone, don't have it bang in the middle. Rule of thirds, just off center, left or right. I'll place mine on the right because I know that's where the direction of flow is going to come from, where my filter would be. I'll go into more detail about the filter later down the line. So we added the stones, got a rough concept going of the way I wanted it, and then it was time to add the wood. So as I was saying about the flow. I wanted all to flow the same direction, so the wood had to flow that direction as well. The wood I've used in this layout, there's actually two pieces in here. It's called Ramus wood, and I got this from my good friends at Horizon Aquatics. Brilliant looking wood. It was the exact look I was looking for. James at Horizon helped us pick out this wood, and I think it looks spot on for the riverbed type of scape I was looking for. So Ramus wood, that was added to make it look pleasing to the eye, and I had a bit trouble trying to wedge it in because I didn't soak the wood. I didn't pre-soak the wood, so there was a chance it would float. So I had to use the stones and pebbles to wedge it in as well to ensure it wouldn't float once I flooded the tank. So you'll see us there trying to wedge little bits in, trying to get that sorted. So once the wood was sorted, I had the shape I wanted. That's the hardscape. It was just a case of adding some smaller details. So I started placing the stone in different ways. Actually, with this, I had been doing the scape, and when I finished it, I kind of looked back at it, and I found there was too many small stones, not enough large stones. So I did tweak it a bit to what you see on the camera to the final just before I filled it. A little bit tweaks here and there because the wood wasn't quite going in the direction I wanted. There was too many small stones, not enough large, etc, etc. So that's a good little tip for you. It's always best to scape your tank, and I would leave it for 2-3 days, maybe weeks. Just leave it dry, and you can tweak and change it if you find little imperfections that you don't like. It's never going to be perfect because at the end of the day, it's your scape and it's what you like. But there'll be certain things you might say, oh, I don't like that. So keep tweaking when it's dry, because it's much easier than once you've actually filled it. So kept on tweaking. I was happy with it. I had a good look, and then it was time to add some smaller details. So I used some gravel, I had different grades of gravel, which I already had. Again, just natural aquarium gravel, different sizes. I mixed them all together, and I started just with my hand. What I do, I just throw them against the rocks so they just tend to spill where they want to go to make it look more natural. So I didn't want to go overboard with the gravel, so I put it just in front of the rocks. And then you've got your gradient from pebble stone to gravel. You've got smaller grade gravel there to the sand. I forgot to mention, the actual aquarium is an Aquael Leddy 75, so it's 75 centimeters in length, and it holds around about 105 litres, I think it is. The light is a Superfish Slim 55 centimeter LED, I think it is. I didn't actually buy the aquarium and the light because James and Nicole actually give me this tank for free. Thank you very much, James and Nicole, really do appreciate it. To make this video, to do a hardscape only tank, I asked them, and they kindly give us this tank to do this video, so I really do appreciate that. Thank you very much. The aquarium actually comes with a lid and a good LED light inside it anyways. The filter I've used, it's actually my favourite filter. It's the Seachem Tidal 35. It's 35 at the moment, but I've listed the 55 because I'll be getting the Tidal 55 soon. It's a bit bigger, a bit more powerful, holds more media, so I'll be replacing that. To me, this is hands down the best hang-on built filter there is. I absolutely love this filter. It's quiet, it uses quite a bit media. It primes itself, so you don't have to fill it with water every time you do it. It's got a built-in skimmer. I've done an actual review on this one, so if you want to check that out, feel free to do so. There's a bit more in-depth look at this filter, but I'd highly recommend it. Great filter. Like I say, this is a 35 which I'm running at the moment, but obviously when I get fish in, it's going to be a bigger filter which will manage it better, which is the Tidal 55 I'm going for, and that's the price I've listed in the description at the end. If you buy the Seachem Tidal brand new, it does come with actual media, which is really good media. That's Seachem Matrix, and it's got a sponge in, so you don't have to purchase any extra media. Media is good enough for what you want. Like I say, it's a minimal setup. As long as you don't really overstock the tank, you should be fine. So we'll cover the tank, we'll cover the filter, we'll cover the light. My setup is going to be cold water. so I've got no heater in there. The reason I'm doing that, I want to keep it cold so I have less issues with nuisance algae, because algae isn't such a fan of cold water. Warm water, algae seems to be a bit more intrusive and it tends to like warmer waters more. So this is a cold water aquarium, no heat added. Saying that, if you wanted to make this tropical, have more choice of fish, you could just add a heater. So it's an extra cost, but heaters, you could easily grab a heater and just put that in. Make sure it's the right wattage of heater for the size of tank you're going for. You could also add plants. You don't have to have it hardscape only, but to me it kind of defeats the purpose of what I was aiming for, hardscape only tank, so I'm not going to add any plants. If you did, I would stick to your epiphyte plants, stuff like Anubias, the different Java ferns you can get, and Bucephalandra. I said it, get in! So epiphyte plants, and you could also attach some moss as well. No harm done there, but I'm going to keep mine hardscape only and see how it goes over the weeks. Obviously I'm going to keep on top of my water changes, make sure I'm doing that properly. When you do your water changes, if you've never kept an aquarium before and you're doing your water changes, you'll need some water conditioner. I use Seachem Prime, which is top notch, and you might think it's quite expensive, but it does last ages. It's really strong, this one, and I'll not use anything else anymore. So every time you do a water change, you just add this, directions on the bottom, and you add that to make sure the water is safe for the fish. Because this is got no plants in, plants actually help in the cycle of your tank, because they use the excess nutrients, things like that, and because there's nothing in here, all I'm doing is add a little bit of fish food every day, so it decomposes and gives some ammonia in the tank, so the filtration media has got something to feed off. So I use this product, Seachem Stability. Now you're probably thinking, oh look, he's just promoting Seachem, he's sponsored by him. I'm not. I bought these with my own money. I've used Seachem for years. I've used Stability before. I've done a video about a year ago on Seachem Stability when I used to keep African cichlids, and it's great stuff to help cycle your tank. You just follow the instructions here and add Stability every day to help with the cycling of the tank, because there's nothing to do any work for you. There's no soil with ammonia in, there's no plants like we were saying earlier. So I think it's important, if you're doing a hardscape only tank, keep on top of your water changes, especially in the early stages. And Stability, brilliant product. Like I say, not sponsored, I'm just a big fan of Seachem. I think they're great. So the biggest challenge I'm going to have with this aquarium is obviously the algae, without having any plants in and things, but as long as I do my big regular water changes, don't skimp on the maintenance, should be fine. Keep the glass nice and clean. I may actually add some Seachem Purigen, which helps with water clarity, because I am getting a bit tannins off the wood, which is normal, and I'm just keeping on top of the water changes for now. I water change around about 50-60% of this, and at the minute I'm doing it every other day, mainly for the tannins. So I'm waiting for the tank to mature before I add the fish. I've been researching the fish for cold water. I know where I'm going to get now. There is some stunning fish out there, more than I knew about for cold water, but just for the size of the tank, I know where I'm going to go with, and I'll be adding the fish in 2 weeks or so. So I'll make a video of us adding the fish. Nothing spectacular, but if you want to have a guess what fish I'm adding, leave a comment, have a guess. I bet you'll get it. You will get it. But it's still a nice fish. Okay, as promised, the pricing. What I'll do, I'll just overlay a list of the equipment I've used and the prices. These are just retail prices, the recommended retail price. Prices may go up, they may go down. You might get them in a sale, you might get them second hand, you might get them free. So it's just a rough estimate. So I try to keep this around about the £300 mark. Dollars wise, I think it's about $370. I might be wrong on that, but just for any Americans watching out there. So I've listed the equipment, so including the filter, the light, the tank. Just remember the light. You don't need the light if you go with this particular aquarium, because it already has a hood and a good quality LED light built in, so you don't have to worry about the extra light. But if you go with a rimless, braceless tank, you will need to purchase a light. Hardscape wise, pretty cheap for you, especially if you collect your pebbles and stones. You don't have to buy any rocks and stones. Invest in good wood, go for the style you want to look for. So that's a wrap for today's video. I really hope you've enjoyed this one. I've enjoyed creating this video and creating this hardscape only aquarium. So if you let us know in the comments below, do you like hardscape only aquariums, or is it not your cup of tea? Just leave us a comment, let us know why you like them or why you don't like them. Always interesting to read the comments of you guys, and I've had some great comments, so thank you very much. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and give us a like, show some love. It really helps us YouTubers out, so I really do appreciate that. Those who have subscribed, really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And for now, that's it guys. See you next time.